Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast, episode 107. Like we said, we're going to keep Mondays and Fridays open, and this is a special edition of Insurance Questions Podcast. And I want to start off by saying a few things. Number one, all the statements by Eddie and comments by Eddie Buffalo, Sassy Sarah, and Donnie Lore, purely for entertainment purposes. Why don't you get your stuff out of the way too, Sarah?
Okay, so like, subscribe, follow, share, bug Eddie on TikTok, send the fan mail. All of it goes to him. And if you subscribe to whatever platform you're on, you'll get these updated podcasts on the fly. We cover a lot of different interesting topics that we read or hear about, and want to make sure that you guys get it in a good amount of time. Also, I'm number one. See, look, I learned how to put it on the podcast.
How does your head fit on that screen? It's so big. How does it fit on that screen, huh? Say your thing, Donnie. You know you want to add into it.
Well, no, just make sure you download and just like Sarah mentioned, like, subscribe, but download the videos or the audio. So we appreciate that. And send us any questions.
I remember fan mail. That's usually the one he mentions.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned fan mail, so.
I also want to say, and even Sarah brought this up, we don't want to be the podcast channel for Bitcoin. We're for a lot of different things, but it's been in the news so much. And if something comes up, Donnie was doing some research yesterday and brought some stuff to my attention that I thought was very interesting. And I thought that you might want to know about it because there's a lot of backlash across the country about the miners, the Bitcoin, crypto miners, whatever you want to call it. The one article that Donnie sent was from a woman in Granbury, Texas. And she has a farm with animals right next to a huge crypto farm where they're mining Bitcoins. And the thing that's coming up over and over again, no matter where it is in the country, I'm looking at these articles, and they're complaining about the noise pollution, that the constant whirring from the fans keeping them cool is just so bad that this poor woman, her dogs, she had like 3 dogs, and they were ripping their fur out because it was just so crazy. And and I understand why Texas is such a great idea for Bitcoining, because you got low taxes. They're coming from so much land's available, and the deregulated energy market that's in Texas, which is going to mean that, like, me and Sarah are going to be paying more for our electricity. And you were saying something that, the Bitcoining, when they had the trouble with the energy grid going down. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, Sarah?
So because we get so hot during the summer, 108, 115, there's always advisements like, hey, turn down your AC or anything else. But what's not being talked about is the or not even Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency farming that's going on in Texas, that's pulling all of this extra energy on top of like the electric cars and more people moving to the area in general. So it's one of those, it's all making Texans suffer to where we can potentially have rolling blackouts in the summer. Nobody wants your heat cut off at 108 or 115. And when we had that freeze in 2021, how much of that was because of yes, our energy grid is outdated. It's been horribly regulated. It needs to be fixed. Nothing has been made to change. They're making small, minor changes, but nothing major. But how much of that was also caused by all the mining that's been going on as well. So it's a lot of issues where people died. People were without heat in 20-degree weather for an entire week. My house was one of those. It's like we had every 2-3 hours, I think, or we had power for 2-3 hours every 11 hours.
Jeez.
So we were lucky. The house that we purchased had a gas fireplace where we were huddled around the fireplace. The dogs, the cats, me and the kids, we never moved away from the fireplace. So I mean, it's just one of those things. It was not a pleasant experience.
That's just a typical day in Buffalo in January, I think, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, but
Yeah, that's why I can't move where it's cold. I don't like being cold, and I don't like being hot, and I don't like humid. I'm still trying to figure out where I can live peacefully.
Well, I know a lot of the guys in the club I belong to, they talk about, you need a generator in case something goes bad. And think about it, if you have a child or a loved one that's on medical equipment that needs that electricity, well, what are you going to do then? Oh, you can only be well for 3 hours out of the day. That's crazy, Sarah. I did not know that. That's insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
Well,
So
what
you
was
would think,
worse was we would get heat overnight, and we had a generator that we would tie to our heater so we could have it running, but we could only run it periodically. But if it's coming on overnight, my husband would have to run upstairs to unhook it, and then we were looking at having it put into the house because you can do that. But because of the freeze, it was like 4 times the normal amount, and it's like, we'll do it eventually.
yeah, exactly.
Now, I'd like to talk about the other article that you sent me, Donnie, and that's a little bit closer to home for you. In North Tonawanda, this year in election time, they're voting on a 2-year moratorium on crypto mining coming into their community. And what's the big complaint? Once again, noise pollution.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just, I knew it was loud, and I didn't think it was that big of a problem as it is. But I mean, I wouldn't want to live next to one of these places.
Yeah, especially people that have lived there for all their lives practically, right? And then all of a sudden, they're seeing these units being built, next door or a block down, and then all you hear is this humming noise, which is very loud, evidently.
Mhm.
So you can understand the residents' point of view. Like, wait, what is this? I can't even have a minute to think without any noise going on. It's crazy.
See, what another thing you're not
Right.
thinking
And
of,
then with the pets ripping out the hair, it's like, what else is it doing to where it's making
right?
the pets do that? How is it affecting humans as well?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Donnie had a full head of hair before he moved next to a crypto place.
Yes,
Look at
I
him
was
now.
waiting for
He
that.
ripped it all out.
I was waiting.
Well,
That
and
was too easy. I'm really disappointed in
Eddie, I
myself.
know that
That
you,
was too easy.
and Eddie, I'm not going to go into specifics of whose house you had walked by, but you had mentioned there was a time you were walking by and you swore
Oh
that
my
that
God.
person was mining for Bitcoin. Just
Had to
imagine
be.
that noise on a massive scale where it's actually an office building
Not even
filled
that,
with
Sarah.
computers.
I mean, we're thinking about the electricity output for keeping that cool, but these are in a room. You don't think it's costing extra money to keep that air conditioned? So it's
Oh,
not
no.
based
Yeah.
Texas sun. People don't think about everything that goes into it. And I know we were going over numbers the other day where one Bitcoin is going to cost you 45 to 55,000. And if that tanks, these mining places can go out of business tomorrow. I mean, it's great for communities because they want the new revenue. I get that. I totally understand that. But it's hard when you start seeing all this, it's like, I don't know what made me think of this when I was getting ready for the show, Don, but it's kind of like everything is cyclical. Everything is like, this is the hot thing right now,
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were kids, you went and got your slime, you went and got your pet rocks. That stuff's all gone, pop rocks,
That's
it's
right.
and it seems like this is a fad that is really hanging in there. Like I was surprised about that it started in 2009, and that's not really that long ago, but it's grown by leaps and bounds,
That's true. And again, what triggered me is cryptocurrency is coming into the mainstream. And I saw an article a couple days ago that there are brokers of foreign currency trading, forex trading, they call it FOREX. And I saw something where you could get this white paper on the future of forex and crypto,
Yeah.
and how forex brokers should have crypto as part of their offerings. So, so there's that part of it. But also, again, we've mentioned many times how the political environment is in this country right now and the world, but specifically in our country with the presidential election coming up in a couple months. There's a group of people that set a meeting with the White House, and because the SEC is trying to regulate the cryptocurrency, and of course the cryptocurrency businesses don't want it regulated. That's the whole concept, that it's not centralized. So they had a meeting basically telling the SEC and White House that you've got this all wrong. There's a lot of regulatory tensions going on there, and you've got somebody like Mark Cuban, who also invests in, I'm not sure if it's Bitcoin or just, we'll say, cryptocurrency. I believe he was at the meeting, and right now it looks like it's about a $2 trillion industry, which is crazy. And they're expecting it to double by the end of this year.
And like Sarah was talking the other day, you got one person out there that's moving $380 billion of crypto. You can tell me that's not going to screw up that market?
Oh my gosh.
Well, and not just that. So the concerns, and I can kind of understand regulation, but then I also am a fan of not having big government. Some of the theories that they're using is, oh, well, the money's being purchased for illegal activities. So you have the trafficking, you have the drugs, all the illegal stuff, right? And reminder, if you have illegal activities and you receive income, report it on your tax return so that you don't get caught like Al Capone. That's a hilarious fact that I still cannot get over.
That still blew me away when you said that. I was like, what? You can do illegal stuff as long as you claim it? Wow. And Donnie's like,
oh my God,
I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to go.
I know. Anyways, so they're using that as the excuse. Well, that's why we need to regulate it. And yes, I can see them trying to close those loopholes. That's not their intent. Their intent is, hey, there's trillions of dollars being used. We could get a cut of that revenue. We would still have a huge deficit for the U.S. because we can use that $1 trillion however we want.
It's not only the U.S. though. Don't forget, because this cryptocurrency is a worldwide item, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm only speaking from U.S. because I don't do other taxes for other countries. But everybody wants the piece of the pie. And you guys were talking about, I know.
What was that, Ed?
I said, what are you, new here? You know she works in the United States. What's wrong with you?
Right? But it's like we had mentioned on a podcast earlier this week about I lost my train of thought. Y'all threw me off. I haven't had enough coffee today.
Station, and sassy Sarah wasn't on that bad boy.
No, I was hopping on it, and then y'all started talking, and I'm like, no. I'll remember it eventually, and I'll bring it back. Let's circle back.
Look, squirrel, Sarah, squirrel.
If that's not showing how much I have ADHD, I don't know what else will.
Once again, I did not have ADHD as a child. I had BAD. Bad.
So also, what else is going on? There's an actual convention, a trade convention for cryptocurrency.
So you got supervillains there, Don? Dr. Evil there.
Yeah,
the guy from the Minions, he's there. All his little minions are running around all over the place.
No. I remember earlier in the podcast this week, we were talking about how they want to turn it into one currency, get rid of the US dollars, and we were mentioning cryptocurrency. That's what it was. I knew it would come to me eventually.
So a global currency, get rid of it.
All in all, it's just another bricks on the wall. I like that, Donnie. I didn't even like Pink Floyd when I was a kid, but I know that. But okay,
so
I think
for our listeners, go back and listen to some of the episodes prior. You're going to get a lot of good information.
Okay, we beat up Bitcoin for about 15 minutes. I want to talk about something good, Don, that you also brought to my attention. Tell us a little bit about Fernando, your friend Fernando.
Fernando. So in my research, it's really talking about what's happening with media and basically the economy and how
Just to give him a little credit, Don, what's his full name?
I have to look it up.
Fernando Cao. I don't know how you spell it. Cao Zhang. Zheng. I think he's Polish. He's got a Z in his name, like me.
Well, I'll have to go back and it's Fernando. You're right, Zheng, Cao Zheng, but he
like moo, moo. It's like cow that way.
I don't know if it's cow, chow.
I don't know. I didn't even want to try it. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
But he referenced somebody, and all he gave was the first name of Balaji, Balaji. I think it's a first name. Maybe it's a last name. Mm-hmm. And this Fernando was saying that this Balaji was a early investor in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 8Sleep. And I don't know what 8Sleep is.
Me either. I'm going to look it up while you're talking, Don.
All right. So he said that social media is about to become far, far more lucrative than people realize. And as Ed and I were talking, offline, really, with social media, it's almost recession-proof. If you have a creative person like our creative director, Tyler Anderson, he'll always be able to generate revenue because he's creative. He knows how to, do things with social media. If you have a podcast or you have a social media channel, or the old model is you're looking for followers just to like you.
It's a sleep fitness app, Don.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
There you go.
I never heard of it.
Okay, then.
Well,
who knew?
We'll check it out.
But you're learning a lot here at Insurance Questions Podcast.
That's right. Nothing to do with insurance. But anyway,
Donnie usually gives us 8 hours of sleep after we listen to him talk.
I expected that from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for not disappointing.
Continue, Mr. LaFonso. Yeah.
So anyway,
I was like, he hasn't insulted you yet. Is this really a podcast?
That's true. That's true. So social media, I mean, the dynamics of social media is changing as we're sitting here. And it's, for me, I mean, it's very, very exciting because it's so dynamic. And my thing is education and educating people about different topics, me learning new things on different topics and experiencing them, so I think this next half year is going to be pretty crazy. And I think 2025 is going to be even, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like, but it's going to be exciting. So,
look at how he segued right into that for you, Sarah. What do you got to tell us about? What are you thinking? Come on.
What am I thinking?
I'll
let you say it.
What are we thinking?
So we do have we're creating a university, so people who want to podcast or do something on social media, we can walk through. What's great is we've already developed a program. Tyler, our creative director, can also provide insight from that feature as well. So you get the whole team, and we can help make sure that what you want to do is going to be an engaging podcast, because here we started together, March, and got a lot of traction to where we're getting over 8 million listens within the first hour, which is a heck of a lot of growth.
Unless you're Billy Sheen, then you get 10.3.
You're Billy Sheen.
That's right.
Yes. And over the next few weeks, we'll have more announcements coming out about some new changes and all the positive growth that we're going to have. So if you're interested in that, feel free to always reach out. Like I said, bug Eddie on TikTok. He loves that stuff. He's on it all the time. He keeps poking me on TikTok. Like, I opened it because he was like yelling at me to open it. And then all I get is every few weeks a poke. And I'm like, dude, stop poking me. Like, no. I already told you I don't want to be on the app. Anyway.
It's funny that you said that. Donnie, you can make the announcement. How many followers are we on after less than a month on TikToker?
We hit 2,000.
We hit 2,000 this morning.
Incredible.
It is really fun. And what we're also going to teach you in the school, which is kind of important, I kind of stumbled into it by accident, and it was pointed out to me what I did, is that right now we are on 31 podcast networks. So we'll also show you how to set up a distribution system for the podcast, because what's important about that, if one part of the podcast doesn't do well, the other one does. I mean, we always want people to share and like on YouTube, but that is such a small part of our viewership. You know, I wish it was bigger, believe me, because I want to be monetized on YouTube. I'm being honest on that.
You of the tube.
On the YouTube, on that interweb, them guys, they got the video, the cute ones, like the one that you sent me, Sarah, the tubby little fella. What's his name?
Oh,
Tubby
yeah.
Lumpkin. What's his name?
I watch a lot of YouTube shorts to pass the time instead of TV, and I just randomly send him weird freaking videos. Like there's this one guy, he's a double amputee, and the joy and excitement he gets just out of life is amazing. Like there was one, he was putting on cowboy boots without having the fake legs on and just dancing around wearing a cowboy hat. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the cutest thing. I sent it to him. He's like, what the hell did I just see? Someone enjoying life no matter the circumstances. Like that's amazing.
That's great.
And what I've really seen that a lot of people, like I was totally against going on TikTok. You know, Donnie talked about it, and Katie actually set up Katie Valentine. Thank you, Katie. She's looking for some money. I told her I'd send her a coupon for a Timmy Hose. $2. $2. You got that, kid.
Once you mention them, you should see if they want to sponsor the podcast.
I know now that they're moving.
Them and Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Kellogg's.
Oh, Kellogg's. So it's really funny. Kellogg's did reach out to me the other day, and whoever was sending it out to me sent out something, and it didn't say Kellogg's. I don't know what the hell it said, but then they fixed it, and believe it or not, Post reached out to, does Post have like a Pop-Tart type thing? I got an email from them the other day. It's like, what the heck? I'm confused.
Think so. Because you keep talking about food items, they're like, hey,
girl, Pop-Tarts.
Is Post Pop-Tarts? I'm looking it up. Hold on.
No. Because they do those like Toastums. It's like the Pop-Tart.
Oh yeah. Well, the man that invented the Pop-Tart
Post makes Pop-Tarts is Kellogg's. I looked that up the other day.
Just so you know, Sarah, you froze.
Post makes like malto meal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
what happened to Count Chocolate?
There we go. So I said I looked it up the other day. Kellogg's does Pop-Tarts. Post does more like brand cereals.
Right.
The good stuff for your heart.
The man that invented the Pop-Tart.
I've always liked Pop-Tarts, but I'll tell you that stupid Jerry Seinfeld movie came out about a month and a half ago, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh, Pop-Tarts sound so good right now. And I've been buying them ever since. So it's subliminal messages.
The man that invented the Pop-Tart.
Buy Pop-Tarts.
His last name was Buffalo. And he just passed away like 1 or 2 months ago. He was like 98 years old or something. You can look that up, Sarah. You're the official looker up.
I'm sure she already
I can't look it up because I'm on my phone.
Oh,
but you know what? I actually made homemade Pop-Tarts before. They are a pain to make, and it's easier just to buy some.
You said that.
Yeah. They were good, though.
I'm going to look it up.
So I want to thank both of you for joining us for the special edition today. I want to thank all our viewers for watching it. We're going to cut it off today. And remember, when it comes to, crypto farms and that, we don't need no noise pollution. We don't. I figured they don't get you for trademark things if they don't understand, or you're a really bad singer, what you're singing. You're totally destroying whatever that song actually is. So we haven't
So
been.
you do a wonderful job at that.
Oh, I'm so down. But as we end every show, if you like working with people that are just like you, you can reach us at www.eviagency.com, 716-306-2020. If you're looking for your buddy Sassy Sarah, you go under the partner
I'm number
page,
one.
and she's like number 6 or 7. I'm make
Whatever.
Sure
I'm number one.
And I really do want to thank all our viewers, because we would not be this far without you. And next week we are going to make an amazing announcement, because we're going worldwide, and you're going to go along with us, everybody. So tune in next week. I don't know what day we're going to tell you, but I want to tease you. Maybe I'll wait till Thursday. We'll tease on Tuesday, tease on Wednesday, and see what happens until somebody. And by the way, to the dude at the gym today, hey, thank you for, supporting the podcast, because it's really weird still for people coming up to me and knowing who I am. So I got to be nice all the time, Sarah. So you got to work on that too.
No, I'm Sassy Sarah. I don't have to be. I already thought about that.
Yeah. No. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you Tuesday for tax questions with Sarah.
That's right.
Tuesday we'll be doing our insurance, and Thursday, like we said, we've evolved into Annuity Bitcoin show. So until then, everybody have a wonderful weekend and stay safe, everybody. Take care. Now, Don, I swear to God, say your ciao. Say your ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
And where'd you put the button, Don?
It's at the bottom of the screen today.
No, it's on the top now. You did move it, you son of a. Take care, everybody.